Welcome to the Notary Educators with Kimmi Podcast. Hosts Kimmi and Jeff Nunnally, along with Alexis Franklin, share expert insights to help you launch and grow a successful mobile notary business no matter what state you are commissioned in. Learn how to become a top-notch loan signing agent and get answers to common notary questions. Explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training library, plus live weekly online coaching sessions with courses on general notary work, wedding efficient services, remote online notary, ink fingerprinting, apostille, translation services, and I-9 completion. Notary Educators, LLC is your one-stop shop for notary training. Tune in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast and subscribe to the Notary Educators with Kimmi's YouTube channel also for more tips. Take your notary business to new heights.
Number one notary educator nationwide. What's up, people? What is going on? We're going to give YouTube a few minutes to notify everybody. And we are doing some power of attorney training and story time tonight, because this is going to be very common. A lot of talk now about estate packages. So I want you to know how to handle it, what to look for within the story that I'm going to tell you tonight. So hold on one second. Hey, everybody. I see we got the members in the house. What's going on, Notary Educator team? Hey, Lori. How are you? Hey, Andrea. Yeah, I wanted to hop on and just tell a little story about what happened at my power of attorney signing today. A lot of tips. Hey, Melissa. How are you? A lot of tips and gems. I'm going to get your opinion on a couple things. And remember that we are not, I'm trying to put my thumbnail out here. We are not attorneys. So when I tell y'all something, don't go crazy on me, okay? Because it's not for me to tell the client what to do. So a couple situations, I'm going to ask y'all what y'all thought process is. How would you have handled something, you know? So yeah, so for those who may be new to the channel, though I am located in the state of Georgia, doesn't matter because all of your documents are not going to originate from where the state that you live in. So you need to know how to notarize even a piece of toilet paper. And what we do at Notary Educators is provide you with the confidence to do so. So guys, my eyes are looking really dark today for those of you who are live and that can see, because my allergies have just been on 100. I went to South Carolina over the weekend. In the last few years I've gone there, it just gets worse and worse. So I'm looking like a raccoon about the eyes. All right, with all that being said, let's get right into it. So I had welcome everybody. I had a power of attorney signing today, and the call came in from a social worker at the hospital. I have been to this hospital before, so someone had my number, or maybe she Googled me. I actually didn't ask her how she got it, but the social worker that I work with today in person, he asked me for some cards. So you know I always have a stack. So I probably left him with 50. So he said he wanted to leave some with some of his co-workers and everything. And I was really ecstatic about that. So this is the situation. My particular client was a ward in the hospital. Okay, I won't tell you what ward because it could get, just in case somebody's watching, they'll figure it out it's them. So you can kind of think about what kind of ward I'm talking about, right? So they were giving power of attorney to their family member, and we're going to say to the brother. All right, and they called me yesterday with all the details and all the facts. Hey, Donna Mack, what's up? Marilyn, hey, how are you? Tammy Ziegler, what's up? Yeah, so, and Jasmine, hi, honey, I missed you. Regina, I don't recall saying hi to you either. Welcome. Yeah, so they called me, the social worker did yesterday with all the details, and she's like, hey, we got this power of attorney signing, and I want to know, can you come to the hospital? What is your availability? Because I guess she had called other people maybe, and there's the first thing she said, I just need to know, do you have any availability? Well, your girl gonna make it happen. Either I'm going, Jeffrey going, somebody from the Notary Educators mentorship program is going, or somebody I know. I never turn down work. If I can't do the work, I'm gonna try to get somebody else. So that's a gem for you right there. Be a part of a network. Hey, Alexis, Lisa. Alexis is our other trainer. What's up, girlie? Hey, Darshell. All these mentees here. So, yeah. So, that's gem number one right there. Always make sure that you have a network, especially if you're going to be doing this business seriously. So, my network, of course, is Notary Educators Mentor Program. I have quite a few in there from the state of Georgia, so they are able to do work for me. I am able to assist them and vice versa. So it's a really nice going two-way street there with the network, a community. We also have the Notary Educators Facebook page, which is completely free to join. So sometimes I'm over there. Hey, I need a witness. Can anybody help me? So you too, no matter where you're located, you can join our Facebook page. It's completely free. Hey, Nita. It's completely free to join. So you can join our Facebook page if you need some help with finding a witness, because a lot of people say, well, I don't know anybody. Well, we have over 10,000. Actually, it's over 11,000. I just don't know why it hasn't adjusted yet. But there's over 11,000 members in our Facebook group. Okay. So you have many ways and opportunities that we have provided for you to have a family, to have a notary network. Okay. Now, you can't learn how to do the notary business in the Facebook group. Let's just be clear. You cannot, but you can get a tip or two, but somebody is not going to be able to walk you through a whole loan signing. So that was never what it was designed for. That is not what we do over there, and that's just not how it works. Just FYI. So be prepared. Don't be like, well, I joined this group thinking they was going to help me with my loan signing. No. You may be able to get a tip or two, but again, nobody can teach you how to be a notary in a Facebook group. And we don't recommend that anyway, okay? Let's just be clear. All right, so when she calls me to do the power of attorney, I had the availability. And like I said, if I don't, I'm finding somebody to do it. Now I'm asking the social worker questions. And she's thanking me for asking questions. One of the questions I asked the social worker, and you should have a whole list of screening questions. They are located in my new journal. If you have that, if you're a membership, and even if not, they're right here on the YouTube channel. I'm going to go through a few of them. The major question, though, because I knew it was a power of attorney I'm asking her, is who are going to be the witnesses and how many witnesses are required. So she's like, wow, that's a great question. I didn't think about that. You know, so I'm putting on my social worker voice. So she's like, that's a really great question. So she could tell I knew my business, right? I knew my craft. I knew what's involved. And if you do not, you probably want to check out my estate training package, okay? I go over estate/trust packages. And I'm going to tell you in a minute why that's so important. So now I'm asking her about the witnesses. So she says, well, the staff has agreed to be the witness. The nurse on staff, and there is another social worker that will meet you tomorrow. They will also be on site, and they will serve as witnesses. I said, well, if you could just double check that and get back with me. I said, because typically staff are not able to be witnesses because of the conflict of interest. Okay? And she's like, yeah, you know, let me double check that. I will get back with you. So she and I had about 4 phone calls, okay? And that's the thing with general notary work, because sometimes people will say, well, just let them book on your Calendly and, you know, book them on Square and you just go to the appointment. No, I have to talk to you because I need to know. And again, the way I teach and do things might be a little bit old-fashioned, but what I need to know is I need to talk to that person. I need to confirm details before I get there. I cannot let you just book on Calendly and I get there and then you don't have witnesses. Okay, does that make sense? I can't let you just book on my Square appointments and then I get there and you don't even have your documents completed. And we're going to talk about that too. That happened today. Okay, so she goes back. She talks to whoever she needs to talk to. And they were like, hey, let's say hi to a couple of people. Hey, Nita. Hey, Pamela Murphy. What's up? Hey, Lori. Lori says that does make sense. Yeah. And Lori's been in this situation now doing power of attorneys and everything. So she's an expert. So she knows what's up. Okay. So all that being said, she calls me back. She was like, you know what? They cannot be the witness per hospital rules. So can you provide the witnesses? I said, yes, ma'am, I can. Now, I typically do a witness fee of $25, but I'm going to start increasing that to $30 to $35. I'm going to really do my best to start trying to do that for power of attorney signings because a lot of times the client can't find anyone. And to get people to leave their house nowadays for $25, it's kind of challenging. It really is. I had one of my notaries in Notary, the mentor program, and she flat out asked me, she was like, hey, can we make this a little bit higher? Because I got to come from such and such a distance. And I was like, okay. And in my world, I asked her, I said, well, hey, is this too far for you, though? Because I'm all about making money and making money make sense. So she was like, no, I don't mind. I do cover that area, but if you can increase it. So I'm like, well, a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. So do you know what that means? It's better to go with the person that at least can come and pay them a little bit more versus trying to look around and you might not be able to find anybody else, because nowadays it's kind of hard to get witnesses, right? So anyway, I'm going to increase that fee, I think, going forward. Probably June 1st, I'm going to start letting people know, hey, if you need a witness, I could provide them for you, but it's going to be 30 or 35. And I always tip my witnesses anyway. So if I tell somebody 25, 99% of the time I'm giving them 30. But why not let that come from the client instead of out of my money, right? So I think I'm going to start doing that. So in your area, it may be different. And the pricing for your witness is going to depend. I'm dropping gems, y'all. The pricing for your witnesses is going to depend on several things. It's going to depend on what time of day is the appointment. If it's at 9 o'clock at night, I can't ask somebody to come out for $25, even $30, right? It might be $50 at that point. Or if it's a holiday, I might have to charge a little bit more to get someone to come and be the witness, right? So I'm not talking about my fee. My fee was set. I wasn't leaving my house under a certain dollar amount. So now she calls me back. I told her, yes, I can provide the witnesses. So she talks to the client. I gave her the price for my fee, and I gave her the price for each witness. And she calls the client, and the client is like, well, the daughter can be the witness on the power of attorney for the aunt. For the uncle, for the uncle. The niece could be the power of attorney, could be the witness on the power of attorney for the uncle. I was like, well, that's not really recommended. So this is the question for you guys. Hey, Willie Pennell, what's up? This is the question for you all. And most of you are in mentorship program. Well, no, maybe half, because we got like 25 people right now. For those of you, the people in mentorship, don't answer, okay? Because I know you already know. But those of you who are not in mentorship, let me know, is it okay for the niece to be the witness on the power of attorney? Put a 1 if you think it's okay. Put a 0 in the chat if not. Don't answer, guys, if you're in mentorship, okay? Let somebody who's not in mentorship answer. Because I know my mentorship people already know. And they've already been working. Okay, Melissa. Melissa says it's okay. Can I get maybe 2 more answers? Let's see. What are other people thinking? Marilyn says not if she has an interest. And Regina says 0. That's a nice part here for us to have a conversation. So they pushed back and said that the niece could do it. They said she did not have an interest, to Marilyn's point. But I always err on the side of Regina. I don't recommend it. I don't. And here you got the mother that's written. Yeah, see, we got all these zeros. I'm going with you guys. But again, I couldn't make her. I didn't push back like I told the person on the phone. I'm not an attorney. Let me say hey to everybody. Hey, Yvonne, Tammy, Cheryl, John. What's up, Regina? Yeah, so I personally try to push back on that as much as I can. What I was willing to do is even let Jeffrey be free. Sometimes I'll provide him free sometimes. Just to kind of help the transaction to go along, because I know in my heart of hearts, I wanted 2 separate witnesses that were not related. So if something happens and mom becomes a power of attorney, the daughter's going to benefit. I mean, it's just a given. Her name isn't written in any of the documents, but technically she will probably, at some point, she will benefit. Okay? So, all good. The niece was one of the witnesses and Jeffrey was the second one. So, in this case, I did charge for Jeffrey. So, we made a nice penny today on this power of attorney signing because I was the notary. And it was funny because the daughter even made the comment. She was like, well, we were going to send this to an attorney, but we would have to try to get uncle out of the facility to get him to an attorney office, and that wasn't going to be a possibility. So you understand why notaries are needed so much, right? I really want you to capture what I just said. They could have went to an attorney's office and had all of that completed, the power of attorney and the notarization piece. But if you have someone that's in a facility, it's not that easy to get them to go to the attorney's office or go to a bank. So then what's their only option? She said they thanked us so much for being available and to come. They thanked us profusely. It was so crazy, right? And again, when you're talking about power of attorney and somebody got some money, if that person's sitting on a whole lot of money and that document, that paper, that power of attorney equals money, because they can't move this person to another facility. They were trying to move them to a rehab center, another center, and they couldn't move them without the document, okay? So that's how important the notary job is. And this is happening all day, every day, guys. The senior community is growing. The senior community is growing like crazy. Power of attorneys are popping like crazy. That's why you hear a lot of people talking about estate training now. Okay, you hear a lot of talk about estate training. I have an estate training package that's not going to break the bank. It's not necessary to be certified. You'll hear a lot of people say, well, I have to be certified to do that. No, you just need to know how to be a great notary in order to do estate packages. Estate packages slash trust packages. Okay? So I'm about to drop a few more gems. I'm going to get some of your comments if you have any. You can start dropping your comments in the chat, actually. So a couple more things that happen that you can learn from this experience. When you have a power of attorney, you don't write the document. The client has their own document, but you need to know key words and key expressions within the power of attorney, because in our case, when we got there, was the document filled out? Somebody help me. Was the document filled out? 14-page medical power of attorney, and then a general durable power of attorney. 2 power of attorneys, one for medical and one for finances. Was the documents completed? Nope, Melissa, no, they were not. Okay, 14 pages for the medical, because on the medical power of attorney, guess what they're asking? Oh, excuse me. They're asking, do you want to be on life support? Do you want to be given liquids intravenously if you cannot eat or drink? Do you want to be left on life support? All these different questions. Who do you want to be in charge in case it has to go to a court? You got to get a court-appointed person. So you need to know some of the verbiage that goes into an estate package. Lori says probably not. You girl, they were not filled out. So when I first got there, Jeffrey and I, we were kind of like, and we just had this happen last week where we had to leave the appointment. I said, man, once you get everything finished, y'all heard me talk about that when we had to deal with them 4 different times. So that was like 2 weeks ago with the mother. And this time, they were both kind of like, well, we can get it done fast. I said, well, it's depending on, and I told them I was straight up, it depends on how many people, not how many people. It depends on how the patient reacts when they come in the room. Because they took us to a little private room. We had been there before, so we were accustomed to that room. But if the patient comes in like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I don't want to. I don't know these people. Because that happens. They will call you out to an appointment and you're thinking everything is good to go. We are A-OK. We are good to go. You get there, the patient is groggy. You get there, the patient is like, I ain't signing that. You get there, the patient is like, I don't even know what they're talking about. What, they want me to sign what? She want me to give her permission to do what? You know, so when that happens, it can be a pain in the rear, okay? So in this case, the patient was very, very willing to sign. She was like, yes. I asked her questions because I was almost scared to ask her. Hey, Notary fam, it's Kimmi. I am here to let you know, just in case you have not heard about the Notary Business Coaching Success Program. We meet weekly. We talk about your notarial duties, how to do an acknowledgement, how to do a jurat, how to administer an oath, everything you've been asking for. And guess what else is included? Unlimited access to all of my trainings that will also include ink fingerprinting, trust/estate documents, learn how to properly execute a trust. Don't forget, we also have the private community, like-minded notaries who have been trained by me. Check out my book that I've written for each state, How to Start Your Notary Business in Alabama, California. You get the point. Wherever you're located, there's a book for your state. Well, hopefully I'll see you soon over in training. Notary Educators, LLC. We got you covered. Bye. Did she know what was going on? Because I didn't know what kind of state the patient was going to be in. I just didn't know. So we're asking questions. The patient is like, yeah, that's all good, da-da-da. So again, 14 pages on the medical, okay, which does not have to be notarized, just FYI. But 90% of your clients are going to want to get that notarized. They are. So in that particular case, I add a stamp, and I add my notarization, and I add my gold seal, okay? Now, you will learn all of this in training. I cannot teach you all that right here, right now. But you can do the self-paced estate/trust training, or you can join mentorship and have access to all of the trainings. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me get a couple more of your questions, and I want to tell you a little bit more about this. Okay, so Nita says, how many pages are normally included in an estate power of attorney? It just depends, Nita. So in this particular case, like I just said, the medical had 14 pages, and the general durable power of attorney had 7. So in the training that I go through a whole trust package with you, which includes your trust packages can be anywhere from 5 pages, just depending on what they have, to 100 pages. Really, it just depends on what they have. Trust documents. And that's why you hear us on YouTube, a lot of us YouTubers talk about, and content creators, educators, talk about making a lot of money doing estate packages versus loan signing. It's true, because instead of them paying an attorney, I'm going in there and doing that part. Okay, I didn't draw up the documents, but I did the notarization piece. Okay, so it just depends. But the reason I said you need to know some of the common verbiage that's used. For example, the daughter was filling out some of the forms for the patient, and she goes, she filled it out incorrectly. I'm like, no, the attorney in fact is this person. So you need to know who's who during the signing, right? They're expecting you to be the expert. They don't pay you almost $200 and you don't know who's who within the documents, okay? That's a check you don't want to try to cash, and you don't know what you're doing, okay? And I know people do it all day long. Well, it's just a notarization. Yeah, but if it's filled out incorrectly and you were the person there, they're going to assume that you were the one that's supposed to help them, okay? So let's just be clear. You cannot fake this till you make it. You have to have training. You have to know what's inside these documents. Not to be a pro, because you're not an attorney, okay? But you do need to know. Okay, Lori says you need to take your time for POAs and trust. Trust can be the size of a ream of paper. I'm laughing because Lori's in mentorship, and Lori has seen her share of things now. It's so funny because I was thinking about you the other day, Lori. I was talking to Jeffrey. I was thinking about doing another Friday night Facebook thing. And YouTube is invited too. And that's how Lori actually joined the program. She was on one night, and a couple days later she joined because she had this big signing coming up. And she's been with us ever since. And Lori's knocking it out the box. But Lori's had her share of experiences out there. Okay, she's had her, and like she said, a ream of paper. So we know a ream of paper can be like 500 sheets. Now, it's not typically that many, and I didn't have to do any printing on this one. They actually brought their own documents. So remember, one was 14 pages, and the other one was 8 pages. 8. Out of that, how many stamps did I do? Nita says, out of 14 or 7, how many do I stamp? I actually only stamped 2 times. Yep. 2 times. 2 times, and made that kind of money, right? So I don't usually talk about the money here. I'm just not that person. I'm not going to talk about what I make. I'm not going to talk about what you make. But I will say this. That job was close to $200. Okay? That job was close to $200. Now, how much would they have had to pay an attorney to complete those forms? How much? Somebody let me know. If they paid me $2, how much would an attorney cost? Let me know. How much would an attorney cost? What you thinking? 2 notarizations. I had 2 stamps. 2 stamps, and provided 1 witness, because the niece was one witness. If they paid me $200, what would an attorney cost? Let me know. Let me know. And this is all relative, because I'm in Georgia. Now, if you're in a bigger city, you know, you're in Atlanta, probably even more. If you're in California, for sure. You know, so don't take my price and make that your price. Okay? Let me know. Oh, I got some comments here. I gotta scroll up. Sorry about that. Lori says she having flashbacks because she had a power of attorney that just went crazy. Okay. Nita says thank you. You're welcome. Andrea says 500. Yeah, easily. What's up, Drea? Easily. And Lori says 750 to 1,000. Nita says 500. Pamela says 700. Regina says 1,500 or more. So if they pay me 200 and I'm just a notary. And I'm not just the notary, guys, okay? I'm not just the notary, okay? And that's another reason why when the documents were not completed when I got there, because I did ask another person who was a party to this, are the documents completed? I don't know. I have to ask somebody else. Okay. Of course. course, we get there, they were not completed, as we already talked about. So my initial reaction was, you have to call us when they finish. But then your girl got to thinking, okay, even if it take them 30 minutes to fill out these documents, okay, let's just say it take 30 minutes. You making that kind of money, girl, you got an hour to spend with these people. Come on now, get yourself together. Get your life, Kimmi Nunnally. Okay, get it together. So I'm slapping myself around, and I'm looking at Jeffrey because he's looking like, this is not how this is supposed to go. But see, sometimes you got to bite the bullet when you have a business, okay? So in a perfect world, everything would have been signed. I have my 2 stamps that I have to do, and my extra stamp, because remember, one of them didn't have a notarization on it. And I'm out of there. That should have been a 15-minute job. A little bit longer because I'm in a facility, right? A little bit longer because I already know. And that's why I charge when I go to a hospital, or if I go to a nursing home or rehab, anything like that, we already going up, because it's gonna be time. It takes time. Now in this case today, we didn't have to get searched. They did take the purses and belongings of the family members of the patient. They did, for security reasons. I guess they can't be bringing in no contraband, they can't be bringing in no stuff. So they did take their stuff. Now, they didn't take my stuff. They didn't even ask me for no ID or nothing. They let us in. But we had been there before. Again, I'll reiterate. We had been there before. But they don't know us like that. But they didn't ask us, because even when the person got ready to pay me, they had to get the purse back from the social worker. So they took the family stuff. Again, they don't know what they was sneaking in there or whatever, you know. So let's see. Yeah, so, but my point is, if they're paying me that kind of money as a notary, okay, with my cute little pink stamp and my pink embosser and my gold seals, you already know the attorney would have been 2, 3, 4 times that, okay? So I'm not charging what an attorney charges because I'm not an attorney. But did I walk away feeling really great about that job for 45 minutes of my time? Shoo, I sure did. I sure did. I had a headache and everything this morning. I was not feeling 100. And like I said, even now, if you really look closely, if you're here live, my eyes are really dark. My allergies have been on 100. I've been taking Benadryl, eye drops for days now, for days. And I wasn't feeling that great, but my clients would have never knew it. They would have never knew it. I walked up in there, hey, I'm Kimberly, your notary, you know. And they just loved me and Jeffrey so much. Now, I didn't ask for the review because one of the persons were older. And it was just a situation where I just didn't want to today. Because you guys know I don't do nothing really without asking for the review, right? But today I just kind of let that go. My satisfaction came from knowing that we were able to get it accomplished. The patient was willing to sign. And the social worker asked me for more cards. And I left a stack of probably, like I said, about 50 cards. And he was looking like, I'm going to give them to my teammates. Because, you know, social workers, they talk. They're like, girl, you know anybody? Guy, you know anybody? Hey, dude, you know anybody? I need a notary. And they'd be like, yeah, this girl came up here. And he even commented on my pink stuff, because, you know, everything's pink. And he commented on my purple. He said, so why you got a purple stamp, too? Because I had I have my purple stamp, which is an extra stamp. And then I have my pink, which is my main stamp. And like I told him, I said, well, this one could break. It could run out of ink, or anything could happen where I need to make sure that I'm able to, you know, get the job done. And sometimes I'm notarizing a lot and I may run out of ink. So he was totally, you know, just nosy, trying to figure out what was going on. So let's see. Let's see. Tony says, you didn't have to complete the forms, just notarize. Yes, I don't complete anybody's forms, Tony. No. I only notarize the documents. 2 stamps. 2 stamps recorded in my journal. No oath was required or anything for these documents. I did have to add an extra stamp, though, because, again, the medical power of attorney did not include the verbiage on it. And a lot of times it says it right on the document. This document does not need to be notarized. So most notaries will probably tell their client, you don't have to notarize this because it says it right here. But being the pro that I am, it's not a big deal. I'm going to notarize it for them. I'm going to add the notarial wording. I'm going to put my stamp on it, put my gold seal, emboss it. Boom, boom, boom. Client is ecstatic. They're going to tell all their friends, etc., etc., etc. And then when I put out my gold seal and my embosser, honey, even the social worker, he was looking like, dang, this girl don't play. I don't play about my business, guys. I don't play about None Better Notary, which is my actual mobile notary business. And I do not play about Notary Educators. And the people in this chat will tell you, we mean business. We say, we do what we say we're going to do. And that's how you need to operate your business. Do what you say. What is it? under deliver, over promise, under, no, not under deliver, over promise, whatever. Y'all know that saying. Somebody gonna put it in chat for me. But we do that every time. We do that in real life with our clients, okay? We do that in real life with our real clients, and we do that with Notary Educators members. We're very serious about what we do here. Lori like the bob and weave. Yes, girl. Tony's right. Cha-ching. Today was a good day. Yes. Nita's asking, did you add loose document for the third stamp? No, I did not. No. Mm-mm. And I'll teach you that too. We do not add the common thread. What's most recommended is try to work with the papers that you're given. Don't get in the habit under promise and over deliver. Thank you, Lori W. Oh, like the video for me, please. Please hit like. Yes, under promise and over deliver. Okay. Be on time. Do what you say you're going to do in your business, whatever that is. When people have a customer service issue with Notary Educators, they're often like, dog, I know you was going to respond that quick. I'm like, I'm picking up the phone. I'm like, hey, you can't access your account. What's up? I'm emailing them immediately back. You know, they're like, what? Yeah, if you can't access your account and you paying for your courses, that's a problem. That's a problem. So be the notary professional. And that's why the whole month of June, we're going to be talking about professionalism and development in the Notary Mentor Program. This new schedule is up. You can feel free to check it out at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. And all next month, we're going to do some mock training on how to actually go out and speak to people, because public speaking is not everybody's jam, you know. But if you don't speak in this industry, you won't eat. You have to be able to. You have to be able to communicate to these patients and these families what is inside the document. Again, it's not your thing to prepare the document, which I did. I did no printing in this particular situation. All I did literally is show up and do my stamps. And I did not add a certificate, a loose leaf. No, that's my last resort. That is my last resort to add to their document, okay? Hey, Cheryl, what's going on? Talana, what's up? How are you? Yeah, so what other questions do you have? So while I finish wrapping this up, so the patient was able to get through all of the questions for the 14 pages and the 8 pages for the durable power of attorney and everything. We were out of there in 45 minutes. 45. Now, again, that really should have been a 10-minute job, literally. Hey, Rolanda, how are you? Yeah, it really should have just been a 10-minute job. But again, the money that they paid me, I was going to sit there and let her fill out them forms. Now, if she had been, like I said, really like, I ain't doing this, what do they want me to do? One of them kind of people, would have nipped it in the bud. Been like, gotta come back. Because I'm not going to sit there with you for 2 hours, because now you costing me money. I always allow at least an hour for estate packages. You know, when somebody call me, I always allow at least an hour. Okay? Hey, Carm7304, how are you? Shan says, hey, finally caught a live. Yes, welcome, Shan. How you? What's going on with you? Yeah, so typically the power of attorney does require 2 witnesses. Again, in this case, my husband was one and a family member was the second one. Don't recommend it. She was not written in any of the documents. That was their decision to make. I pushed back as many times as I could and said, hey, you know, you sure you want to use her? And they did, you know. You don't have to use the embosser. You do not. It just make things look pretty. And Lori knows this from experience and many others. When you pull out that embosser and you put that gold seal, it just makes the client feel like, dang, I am good to go. G-O, let's do it, right? So that's why I use it. And sometimes I will receive calls, especially from your elderly clients or older persons and people that know about the embosser. They're like, hey, you got that crimpy thing? You got that gold thing? You know, that's what they want on their document. So who am I to say, no, I don't have it? You know, I was watching another YouTuber. She was like, that's outdated. You don't have to have that. That's not necessary. And when I hear people say those kind of things, I'm like, I cringe, because I'm like, you do need it. You do. You do need that as a critical part of your package, your notary supplies. You do. So if you don't know what you should have in your bag or some of your basic notary supplies, I do have a free list you can download at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com under the free resources, okay? You can actually download the supply list. You don't have to buy everything on there. Okay? You don't have to buy everything on there at the same time. Little by little. That's why I love general notary work, because it's quick money. And then you can take that money and then you can, keep continuing to upgrade what you need. Okay? Let's see here. Shan says, what should the embosser say or read? I'm not sure when or how to use it. I do have a couple of videos here on the channel, Shan, how to use it. But the short version is, again, it's just to make things look pretty. Certain documents. I would never use an embosser during a loan signing package. Never. It's too many pages, and that's not what they want. That's a quick way to get error. You must use your ink notary stamp for loan signing. I only use my embosser for estate/trust packages, or a single page or two that I want to make it look pretty. Okay? That may be a document like a reference letter that doesn't have any notarial wording on it. So now I have to add my notarial wording, I have to add my stamp, and then I'll always add a gold seal just to make it look better. Okay? The gold seals are not that much either, so you can get all the supplies. Check out the whole list I have for you at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com, okay? Carm says she got to get one. Yeah, I highly recommend it. If they're not asking you about it today, they will be asking you about it tomorrow. Tony says, Kimmo, are you attending the NNA conference in Las Vegas? Hope to meet you. I will not be there. Nope. I will not be at the NNA conference, but I hope you have an amazing time. Yes, I hope you have an amazing time. Yeah, I won't be there. Anitra says, Anitra says, hey, Kimmi. What's up, Anitra? I was just warning today. I'm going to start your training next week. See you there, lady. Oh, we're looking forward to having you. Congratulations. What state are you in, Anitra? What state? Shan says, thanks for the information. You are so welcome. So let's see, did I cover just about everything with the power of attorney signing? So it took 45 minutes. The person was able to sign the journal. She was very friendly. It can go bad though, because I've had some, like I said, where I had to leave a power of attorney signing because the client was like being pushed into signing, and that's not what we're going to stand for. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Georgia. Oh, Nietzsche's in Georgia. Okay, cool. Very good. Very good. Lori saying welcome. Yeah, welcome. Carmen saying thank you. Yeah, so we're not going to allow our client to be bullied into signing the documents, even though we want to get paid, even though we want to stamp the papers, so we can complete the assignment. We're never going to allow our patient to be coerced, okay? And sometimes that's going to be the cost of doing business. And what do I mean by that? If I had gotten there today and I almost called my client back and say, hey, to tell her, if for some reason the client doesn't sign, I still need to pay my witness. Well, in this case, it ended up being Jeffrey. But in the future, that's another part of my standard operating procedures, SOP, that's going to be happening around here. I'm going to have to let them know if for some reason we get there and it cannot be signed, for some reason, any reason, then you're going to have to at least pay the witness. I may take a loss on it, okay? But normally a witness coming for $35, they can't afford to just take a loss on that. They spend gas, time, clear their schedule, et cetera, et cetera. I did too. But again, it's my notary business, so I'll put the mileage in my notary gadget. If you don't have that for record keeping purposes, you may want to check it out. I am an affiliate of that at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com, so I'll put that in my mileage, and I'll just write off my mileage, as a loss. Because I did drive to the appointment, I came back from the appointment, so I'll count my mileage. So it's not a complete waste of time, So let's talk a little bit about, so she paid me, I gave her a receipt, and that was it today. That was it for that appointment. And the major thing is I was able to leave a whole stack of cards with the social worker. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about the new notary journals, and then whatever questions you all have, you can feel free to drop them here. I wanted to show you, this is my little favorite one. I have a whole collection of journals. So that's under the notary supply list. Now you can see them there. I have that one for our pet lovers. I have this one. You guys know I still haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. I'm so embarrassed to say. They're all so cute, I can't decide. This is the purple one. People have been going crazy. So they all come in paperback. There are right now 10. I'm working on adding 2 more. There are 10 that you can choose from right now. And this is my other favorite. I really think this is going to be the one I use. I think it's going to be this one. I love this one. I got this one, and I got a hot pink one that I think I'm going to order as a sample. This one in hot pink, and then make my decision. And what makes this journal so special, guys, is there's a place for you to put what hiring company hired you. Because a lot of times you have to go back and say, well, did I work with Closing Exchange, or did I work with SnapDocs? Who gave me the assignment? So I actually put a line there for that. And then on the bottom, there's a place for you to put your state notary fee, also your travel fee, and then the number of stamps. And all of that's going to be important information at tax time. Okay, also included in the journal is a list of screening questions, a sample oath, a start and end date. So everything you should need to be a good record keeper in your business, okay? And again, right now there's 10 to choose from. Let's see. Shan says, I wanted to share that I purchased one of your notary journal, and it's great. I love the individual pages. Game changer for me. I appreciate you producing this. Oh, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. Oh, you got the butterfly one. Oh, I know, right? So you must have this one. Thank you. I appreciate it. And they are single pages. Thank you for mentioning that too, Shan. I forgot to mention that. So they are single pages. So that means your clients won't be able to look over your shoulder and see information about your previous signer. Because the very first journal I ever had, the very first one, it was like that. The client could look over and see everything about the previous signer. But this one has one page for 4 people, which is typically no more than that. You can do all of your entries here, your apostilles, acknowledgments, jurats, oaths, ink fingerprinting, whatever you got going on, field inspection. You can write it all on this in the same journal. So back in the day, we had 2 journals on our platform because our previous trainer, Angela, had a journal. And I didn't want to release a journal when she had hers on the platform. So I still have the specialty journal that I initially put out, which was all your specialty work. But now you don't need all of that. You just need to use the one journal. Just the one journal. And it has been amazing. The feedback has been amazing. Please go back and leave a review on the journal for me if you bought one. I'd really appreciate it. On Amazon, if you could just leave 5 stars for me, I'd really appreciate it. If you bought a journal or if you bought the book, Start Your Notary Business book, and there's one for every state, all 50. If you can go back and just leave it a review for me, I'd really appreciate it, okay? So that'll help you start your business. So let's see here. Pamela says, I have that one, love it, hardback. Oh, yay! Yeah, the hardback is a game changer. And it's so funny because somebody, and that's why I always say each one teach one. So in mentorship, when I introduced the journals, one of our people said, hey, can I come in hardback? And I was like, I'm doing my little face like, I don't know. And then finally I was like, well, why can't it? So I did my research and figured out how I can get it in hardback. And yes, you can choose soft copy or hardback. And I love the hardback too. It is a lot. They both are sturdy, but that hardback just seems so professional. I gotta order the hot pink in there. I'm gonna order that. I gotta order it tonight. Okay. Shan says yes. Charm says, do you thumbprint for important documents in the journal? That is not a requirement in my state. I never thumbprint my clients. Ever. 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 And let me tell you why, Charm Girly, is because the other thing about it is you want to be cautious. Don't ask for more information from your clients than is necessary, okay? Because people are already funny. One day, it was hilarious, okay? So one day, somebody came to my house because we let people come here by appointment only. Strictly by appointment only. So she came here, and I work out the back of my car. So Jeffrey took her ID because he was writing it in a journal for me. And she was like, where's he going with my ID? She called me back later on. She was like, I remember he went around the car with my ID. And the reason he was around the car is just because he was trying to write on the hood. That's all. The setup is not conducive, really. It's not an office. It is my home garage office. And I'm going to make it look a little bit better in the very, very near future. I am going to make it look a little better. But most of my jobs are 5 minutes, literally. So they're not here long enough to sit down. I always offer a chair to an older person, but they're not here but 5 minutes. So literally, I'm stamping, signing, and they out. So no, I don't ask for any more information than necessary. And again, in my state, it's not a requirement. Now, Californians are allowed and required to get a thumbprint. So there is a thumbprint space in the journal. There is a thumbprint space. Okay. Let me show you the inside for those who are live. There is a thumbprint space. You see, it's all kind of space in here to write. But yeah, I don't ask for anything unnecessarily. Like, I don't even write their expiration date. I don't write their now I have spaces in here for all that. Let me make sure before I say that. Yes, there's a space for issue date, expiration date, signature, address, email, all of it, right? Because I got those people who want to write everything, and some states may require it, but my state does not. So for me, what I write in my journal to keep things moving is I write the state and the number. The state and the number. And this is my theory behind that. Of course, I get an address, and I have to fill out all the major stuff, or I fill out all the major stuff. But the reason I only focus on the number in the state, because if I call the state of Florida with that driver's license number or state ID number, they can find them. If it's somebody in Georgia, I give them GA, they can find it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I just try not to overwhelm my client with any unnecessary things. And also, I'm trying to make my job as fast as I can, right? I'm not trying to have them there any longer than I need to either, because I'm about my time. Time is money, and if you saw Temptations, it's my money. So so we're not sitting there all day trying to figure out, well, this expires in this date, this time, and they issued it here. I'm not doing all that. I just get what I need, keep it moving. I will always write my notes when necessary. So like today, this is another gem I'm dropping. During that appointment today for the power of attorney, also in the journal, the social worker was present during the whole thing. He saw everything. So if a family member come back, because I found out my client had 8 kids. Okay. And when I saw that, later they told us that the person's children wanted nothing to do with them, right? So that being the case, they can come back and say, well, this person and this person, they took my mama's stuff. I didn't know they were doing that. So we put who was in the room in the journal. We wrote the name of the social worker. Okay. We wrote the name of everybody that was in the room. We asked him his name because it was a different name, but typically I'll try to just read their badge, because again, I don't want to be asking a whole lot of questions and prolonging it or making anybody feel uncomfortable. So typically I'll just kind of look at their badge, which I did in his case, but I said his name incorrectly. So then when Jeffrey went to write it, he actually asked him what his name was. He didn't mind sharing it. So we wrote it in the journal. I said, just put for the record who all is present in the room. Okay. Sharm says, I noticed some in my area note they do not go inside homes for mobile appointments. Can you speak on that? Yeah, so during COVID, during COVID, we did not go in homes. What we did whole loan signing packages right outside. If you look at my website, I actually have pictures of me doing notarizations outside. So if somebody had like a patio area or a front porch, and you guys don't have an issue with dogs and cats and stuff. So if I don't have to go in the home even now, I say, hey, if it's a nice day, do you mind if we do it right here on the porch? Now, I'm going to push back, Sharm, because now that we're not in COVID, okay, if a signing company hires you to go out to someone's home, you can't just go out there and be like, I'm not going in that house, okay? You cannot do that. You will not work on, because clients will go back and report you. I try to set the expectation for them when we're on the phone. So for me, and I have last night during our session, today is Wednesday, right? We had a session last night. Last night during our mentor session, the question came up, what if someone is smoking marijuana? Because a lot of people are smoking nowadays, right? It's legal, and a lot of people are smoking, and they came out, they were not feeling well. The notary wasn't. It was really hilarious. It wasn't funny that it happened to her, but it was just funny what was going on. So anyway, as we unpacked it and we talked about it, that's the whole point of mentorship. And we came up with something like she could just say, hey, due to my asthmatic state, unfortunately, I need to step outside, or something like that. Put it back on her. Never put it on your client. So they were asking in mentorship, would it be okay as part of our screening to ask them, does anyone in the home smoke? Does anyone in the home smoke? And yeah, we're not going to ask that. And that was the consensus. We're not going to just, we don't make business decisions off of one-time thing happening. Okay? I'm not going to change my whole business model because one person did something. Okay? You got to look at the totality of something. So that's the consensus we came up with. So, because at first they were like, why don't you just ask them, hey, part of my screening questions are there any pets in the home that we need to be concerned about? You know, and they'll usually joke and say the kids, you know, something like that. But again, in this case, we told our fellow notary that it sounds a little bit more professional. She just said something like, hey, due to me having asthma or due to whatever health condition you have, I'll have to do the signing outside. Is that going to be okay? You know, or like I suggested to her too, because maybe the person can't come outside. Maybe they can sit in the door. And this is what we did during COVID too. The client would sit behind the screen door and I'm sitting on the other side, you know, watching them sign it or whatever. So sometimes you do have to get creative. Everything is not going to be textbook, but you cannot. And I repeat whatever for the people in the back. Don't think you're going to take a mobile notary job and just get in the habit of telling these people, I cannot come in your home. Okay? That's not going to work. We're not taking loan signings and think we're going to tell the people, meet me at McDonald's. Because I'm not coming in your house. You know, sometimes you got to suck it up. I always have my mask with me for smells even. I've been in homes where the smell is horrendous. Okay? It's facts. So I'll have my mask with me and I'll usually put a little perfume inside my mask. I'll take a little smear and put it inside my mask so I'm smelling that versus what actually is in the house. So yeah, but I want to be very, very clear. You cannot take these jobs and just think you're going to reassign it and say, meet me at Starbucks or meet me at the Cushy Bank or wherever, because that's just not how this thing works. If you're a mobile notary, you're a mobile notary. Just like, I've been watching this show called The Midwife. I think it's called The Midwife. I just got into that over the weekend. Binge watching it with some friends, and this girl, she is one of the stars. She's a little bougie, and this is her first assignment being a midwife, and she had to go in his house. And this man, when they lift up the coffee cup, he was offering her something to drink, and she had a cup of coffee with him, and then she had to go move something else and saw all these bugs. She was going crazy, and she went back and she was like, how are people living like that, you know? And again, we're uninvited guests. They know that we're coming, but if they've been living like that for 25 years, you think they're about to clean it up because the notary's coming? Nope. So she had to go back out as the midwife to that same house, and her and that man became really good friends. So my point is, as a notary, you don't know what you're going to walk into. You never know what you're walking into, literally. That's one thing I love about the assignment of being a notary, the career of notary or whatever, but that's also the one thing I don't like. It's because you never know what you're going to get. Just like Forrest Gump. You do not know what you're going to get. You do not know. So I always have my clipboards. I always have my wipes. I always have hand sanitizer. Especially during COVID, we had a lot of stuff that we had to really protect ourselves, you know. Mask and everything. So it was a lot going on during COVID. But that's when our business opened. That's when we thrived. And we've been doing it ever since. So we opened smack dab in the middle of COVID and been going strong ever since. And I still practice a lot of things from COVID. Like, I don't shake hands. I'm a fist bump or a hugger. And some people say, well, you'll hug them over over shaking hands. Yes. Prior to COVID, I was a huge handshaker. I would shake hands with the dogs. I just thought it was a form of respect. I was a huge, huge, huge handshaker. And I stayed sick a lot before COVID. Because I'm in my eyes all the time with my allergies, and I'm constantly touching my face, et cetera, right? And I realized during COVID, I didn't get sick. Since COVID, I don't get sick as much. If ever. You know, not that I can't. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, I know what it was from. It was from constantly touching people and constantly touching my face. And Jeffrey, he's a big handshaker, but he's constantly using hand sanitizer or going to wash his hands. So for me, I found, like I said, my thing now is I fist bump. And I'll explain it to the client. Sometimes they'll kind of look like, Some people kind of look like, really? You're not going to shake my hand? Nope. I'm not going to shake your hand. Let's see here. We got some people to say hey to really quick. Let's go. So, short version on that is, yeah, you don't just tell people we're going to change the appointment, and you got to learn to suck it up with mobile, with mobile notary, because we're mobile, and they ain't telling where you're going to end up. I got umbrellas in the car when it's raining. I got ponchos. I don't know if I'm going to be outside, inside, on the ground even. Sometimes I've had to open up my stuff and put it on the ground so I can get to everything, Did it outside of office buildings before, just all kind of, you name it, I done been there. My favorite location is banks, or Panera Bread or something like that, where I ain't got to worry about no pets. That's my favorite. Hey everybody, welcome. Van She Goes says, hi from North Carolina, no journal required, but I use it for record keeping. Van She Goes, record every single transaction. I know it's not a requirement, but record everything. Record your fingerprinting, record your I-9s, record your apostilles, record everything. And that's why I got a space for everything in my journal, because I want you to record everything. It may not be required, but when that attorney calls you back and they want to know, hey, who was at the signing that day? Who were your witnesses? If you don't have it written down somewhere, I guarantee you are not going to remember. I guarantee it. Okay? So please, please, please write it down. Everybody that can hear me, even though it's not required in your state. A journal may not be required. This is a $12.99 investment, okay? I think it's $12.99 for the paperback. Okay? Get this. It will save your business, honey. Because they're going to call you 5 years from now. They're going to ask you. I had somebody call on something that my mom, who I no longer have with me, was a witness. And I had to tell them who was the witnesses. I'm looking back. Well, that was in 2022. That was in 2021. I don't know. Because my mother was a witness for me for years. On quite a few signings. So now I still got to be able to give an account. They don't care that she's not here no more. They need to know. They need to know who was the notary on record and who were the witnesses. So please record everything you do. Everything, okay? Let's get the rest of these comments really quick. Carrie Ann is from Minnesota. What's up, girl? Hi, Van. Okay, we got a couple North Carolinians together. Van, okay, cool. Everybody just saying hi. Anitra says, Lori, thank you. Late response, driving. Honey, babe, what's up? Hi, Kimmi. Question, what jobs would you suggest for someone that is not mobile? And is it okay to do notary in your home on a regular basis? Yeah, I do work notaries in my home when people want to come here. Now, everybody don't want to come here, and that's how you make your money, being mobile. Okay? So what jobs do I suggest if you're not mobile? The only thing if it's illegal in your state, okay, remote, but you still got to be a great notary before you can do remote. Don't think I'm just going to start doing remote. It's going to be cool. You still need to be a great notary. But I would highly recommend, I guess, remote for you. And then you have to figure out and see, do you have a clubhouse you can meet in? Do you feel comfortable with people coming to your home? Are you there by yourself? Because you can strictly offer service where they come to you, I'm not sure of all your state fees and where you're located and everything, but you could offer that service where they only come to you. Now, again, I wouldn't have made $200 today if I had let that client come to me. I would not have charged them the same amount because I didn't go anywhere. They came to me. Now, it still would have been some good money because the power of attorney is still going to demand, a certain price, right? But yeah, I make more money when I'm mobile. Make much more. And you and the client have to be in agreement. So if you're not sure how to price your services, check out my pricing book and my pricing videos here on YouTube, which are free, okay? I always give you something free, but if you want to do a deep dive, check out the pricing book because I cover every part of the industry, how to start your prices. Now, I can't tell you exactly how to price because your state is different from mine, but I give you some nice parameters to think about. Bobby Williams, what's up? What's up, sir? Charm says, let me find out you were almost patient zero. Not sure what that means. Oh, unless she was replying to something earlier. Bobby Williams says, in Alabama, I am very interested in becoming a notary. Yeah, check out the channel. Get the book for your state. Whatever state you're in, start your notary business. I have a book for your state, and it's going to help you to determine what you can do in your state, because these are state specific. Some of it's the same, but they are state specific. So whatever state you're in, there's a book for you, okay? North Carolina has their own book. Every state, all 50, plus DC has their own book, okay? So start there, and that's at Notary Educators, LLC, under the book collection. You'll see it right on the front. Press the button. It'll take you right to the book collection, okay? And yes, honey babe, you are good, North Carolina. All right, look like we got everybody's comments. I got a couple more minutes. I'll hang out with you. Anything else that you all would like to talk about really quick? So just to go over mentorship, what is it? It's called the Notary Business Success Mentor Program. People are succeeding. What do you get in the mentorship program? Access to all of our trainings. That's not a separate fee. It's all inclusive. All inclusive. Just like you go to the Jamaican beach hotel, your drinks are included, which is the icing on the cake. The drinks are included at Notary Educators. So you get all of the courses included. Weekly live training. We meet every week. Next month we're meeting on Tuesdays every month at the time if you're watching this video today. For next month we are meeting all on Tuesdays, so you can see the whole lineup and the schedule. In addition to the live weekly coaching and training that we have, which has been going on, it's going really good. I'm really proud of the program. In addition to that, this is all inclusive what I'm talking about. There's a group chat, group me. Within that chat is myself, Lisa, who's also one of our members, is actually helping to answer questions there. Jeffrey, my husband, is also a notary, so we'd love to have some more men folk over there. He is a notary. He typically handles more of the equipment technical part. And then Alexis Franklin, who is my niece, also is a notary, has her own notary business and been working with us for years. She has her own notary business too. So we have a wealth of different opinions, but we all think about the same though. I mean, because it's only one way to do it, and that's the right way, right? So if you ain't gonna do it the right way, we're not gonna do it. That's Notary Educators in a nutshell. We're gonna do it the right way, and we want you to do it the right way. And a lot of times people will try to go around doing it the right way. The questions that they'll ask, well, hey Kimmy, can I do? No. You can. But do you want to be a long-term notary or short-term notary? You want one job or you want to be the go-to notary? Which one do you want? Which one? A one-hit wonder? Like a singer that only had one hit? It's like, yeah, whatever happened to them? Or you want to be Whitney Houston, Anita Baker, Luther Vandross, timeless people, right? Beyonce, let's go there. Okay? Girl been in the game for a long time because she delivers excellence, right? Excellence. So that's what we're striving for over here. We ain't gonna do it perfectly. None of us are perfect, but we're gonna do our darndest to get it straight. Okay? Well, on behalf of Notary Educators, all things notaries, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I will see you over in the chat or the mentorship program, or until I go live again. Okay? Let's get this last question for Sandrea. Hey, Sandrea. Now, you know you're in chat. You can put your questions over there, but we're gonna answer for you. For the websites like Notary Rotary, SnapDocs, can I find leads there as general notary? I haven't done the notary signing agent training yet. Yeah, so I'm not going to recommend that okay, I got your question. Can you get general notary work? So the best way you can get general notary work from these particular places that you're referring to, but until you have the loan signing training from the NNA with the background check, they're not going to look at you. So you don't start applying for these companies yet. Please don't. But you can do find a notary with the NNA. That's $99 per year. But before you start paying any money for anything, I want you to do all the things organically that we tell you to do, which is free. Get out in your community. Give your business cards out to everybody. Get that Google page maximized. Those are the things that are going to make you money without costing you money. So the only thing I want you really investing in right now is your training with Notary Educators. And then from there, we'll help you to get the business, okay? So I would not sign up with any of those that you're referring to for general notary work. Not right now. All right, Sandrea? You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to say until later. Bye. Much success.
Thanks for tuning in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring as you build your notary business. Don't forget to explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training notary library for more resources to expand your skills and services. Stay connected with us on YouTube at Notary Educators with Kimmi for even more tips, tricks, and industry insights. Be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with others who want to succeed in the notary field. Until next time, keep growing and learning, and take your notary business to the next level. See you soon! Don't forget, for all things notary related, visit notaryeducatorsllc.com.